to spiritual calisthenics. Christos Anesti, Christ is risen. On Monday, June 10th, we commemorate St. Alexander and St. Antonina, the Martyrs. St. Timothy, the Bishop of Proussa, St. Theophanes, and St. Pansemne of Antioch, our Holy Father Gregory, Bishop of Assos, and the Holy Martyrs of China. Regarding St. Alexander and Antonina the Martyrs. The Holy Martyrs Alexander and Antonina were from the town of Cardamom. Antonina was arrested by Festus the governor. Because she refused to deny Christ, he had her placed in a brothel. And Alexander, sent by divine providence, came in under her and gave her his cloak. With her head covered, she escaped without having been defiled. When Alexander was discovered, he was taken before Festus, and with Antonina was tortured and burned to death. Your martyrs, O Lord, in their courageous contest for you, received as the prize the crowns of incorruption and life from you, our immortal God. For since they possessed your strength, they cast down the tyrants, and wholly destroyed the demon's strengthless presumption. O Christ God, by their prayer, save our souls, since thou art merciful. Regarding the Holy Martyrs of China. The Holy Martyrs of China were native Chinese Orthodox Christians brought up in piety at the Russian Orthodox Mission in Peking, which had been founded in 1685. During the Boxer Rebellion of 1900, against the foreign powers occupying China, native Chinese Christians were commanded by the Boxers to renounce Christianity or be tortured to death. 222 members of the Peking mission, led by their priest, Theophanes and his family, refused to deny Christ, were deemed worthy of a martyric death. The commemoration date of the Chinese martyrs varies between June 10th and June 11th in Orthodox practice throughout the world. Let us, the flock of Christ, with love and piety now glorify with hymns and truly joyous oaths the faithful martyrs of the truth who suffered for Christ in China. For having confessed the faith, they all bravely went unto death as lambs, which were sacrificed for our shepherd and master Christ. And therefore to the martyrs we cry out, remember us all who sing your praises. From Acts of the Apostles. In those days when the apostles had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul went in, as was his custom, and for 3 weeks he argued with them from the Scriptures, explaining and proving that it was necessary for the Christ to suffer and to rise from the dead, and saying, this Jesus whom I proclaim to is the Christ. And some of them were persuaded and joined Paul and Silas, as did a great many of the devout Greeks, and not a few of the leading women. But the Jews were jealous, and taking some wicked fellows of the rabble, they gathered a crowd, set the city in an uproar, and attacked the house of Jason, seeking to bring them out to the people. And when they could not find them, they dragged Jason and some of the brethren before the city authorities, crying, these men have turned the world upside down, and have come here also, and Jason has received them. And they're all acting against the decrees of Caesar, saying that there is another king, Jesus. And the people in the city authorities were disturbed when they heard this. And when they had taken security from Jason and the rest, they let them go. In other words, they posted bail. This is because the jealous people, the leaders of the Jewish people of Thessaloniki, are trying to get Paul and his disciples killed. And it will be because of this that we're going to see Paul start to exercise an authority that he had not had until then, his standing as a Roman citizen. From the Gospel according to St. John. At that time the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered to the council and said, what are we to do? For this man performs many signs. If we let him go on thus, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and destroy both our place and our nation. Because they're worried that the people will declare Jesus king, the Romans will get wind of it, and they'll destroy the entire nation of the Jews. We have to understand that during the time of Jesus, the Jewish state was not a powerful being. And Jerusalem was a tiny, tiny town compared to some of the other towns around them, especially Caesarea. But one of them, Caiaphas, who was high priest that year, said to them, you know nothing at all. You do not understand that it is expedient for you that one man should die for the people, that the whole nation should not perish. He did not say this of his own accord, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation, and not for the nation only, but to gather into one the children of God who are scattered abroad. So from that day on, they took counsel how to put him to death. They don't understand that, of course, they are fulfilling the prophecy, but not in the way they think. They think that they're going to save the people by killing Jesus. They don't understand that they are betraying Jesus, and that, yes, he will bring them and save them all, but not against the Roman authorities. Jesus therefore no longer went about openly among the Jews, but went from there to the country near the wilderness, to a town called Ephraim, and there he stayed with the disciples.
I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.